Hello and welcome to Spectrum TV News at 12. I am Raymond Ita, coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakuran. Let's take a look at the headlines. Federal government, state and local government councils share over 900 billion naira for the month of November. House of Reps demand hospital relocation from President Buhari's hometown. Plus, Peru's ex-president Castillo to be jailed for 18 months as protesters declare insurgency. We will bring you details of these stories and more in a moment. Well, thanks for staying with us. We begin the news this afternoon with a report that the Federation Account Allocation Committee, FAC, at its meeting shared a total sum of 902.053 billion naira to the three tiers of government as Federation allocation for the month of November 2022. From the stated amount, inclusive of gross statutory revenue, value-added tax, VAT, exchange gain, and electronic money transfer levies, the federal government received 358.515 billion naira. The states received 270.836 billion, and local government councils got 204.130 billion naira, while the oil-producing states received 68.572 billion as derivation and 13% of mineral revenue. The communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee at the end of the meeting indicated that the gross revenue available from the value-added tax for November 2022 was 202.839 billion naira. The distribution saw the federal government taking 30.426 billion, the states 101.42. In a separate development, the federal government has directed airlines to allow Nigerians returning home with expired passports to board their aircraft without any hindrance. A directive from the Controller General of Nigeria Immigration Service their expired Nigerian passports. The directive also urged all Nigerian diplomatic missions abroad to circulate the information to airline operators and border authorities of host countries for their necessary action. Meanwhile, following the opening of the second Niger bridge between Asaba, Delta State and Onitsha in Anambra for temporary use, motorists have expressed excitement that the bridge would be a relief for road users as it is going to help decongest the old Niger bridge. Recall that the Minister of the Yuletide. Reports say there is heavy security presence at the bridge to ensure the safety of lives and properties of those plying the bridge.
It's not a bridge to grandstand. It's a bridge about human beings, about lives. And so we thought, if it is motorable, let us open it for the period it was meant and conceived for, and beyond that period, so that people can begin to feel that relief. And we can begin to then see the impact on poverty in terms of time spent just trying to cross the river. Of course, it has addressed the monetary side of the poverty equation. But let us be clear. Feedback, if you get the opportunity to use it, so that we know how best to make it better for you. Because
We move now to the legislature, where the Senate and House of Representatives Committee on Niger Delta have screened Loretta Onoche as chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC board. Onoche, a special assistant on social media to President Muhammadu Buhari, was screened by the joint committees alongside 13 others for the NDDC board roles. Recall that President Buhari had written to the Senate in accordance with the provisions of Section 2, Subsection 2A of the Niger Delta Development Commission Establishment Act. Meanwhile, the Senate President Ahmad Lawan says that President Buhari's decision to send another list of nominees for confirmation was because there was a flaw in the previous compilation. In a separate development, the House of Representatives has demanded the relocation of a Federal Medical Center (FMC) from Daura, the hometown of President Muhammadu Buhari, to Funtau in Katsina State. The Federal Parliament particularly urged the Federal Ministry of Health to reconsider the process of converting Daura General Hospital to a Federal Medical Center in the public interest, while also urging the ministry to facilitate the relocation with immediate effect. A member of the House from Katsina State, Babangida Ibrahim, made the demand in a motion at plenary, which the lawmakers unanimously adopted. And now in promotion within the ranks and file of the Nigerian military, the Nigerian Army Council has approved the promotion of 122 senior officers from the ranks of Brigadier General to Major General and Colonel to Brigadier General, respectively. Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Oyema Nwachukwu, in a statement said 52 of those promoted are Brigadier Generals and 70 Colonels. According to him, the Brigadier Generals were elevated to Major Generals and the Colonels to Brigadier Generals. He said their promotion was in recognition of their meritorious service to the nation. We move to politics, where the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, has promised to ensure that the Onitsha port will become operational and as well as resuscitate industries in the southeast in order to boost the nation's economy. Atiku stated this while addressing party supporters during his campaign rally in Awka, the Anambra State capital. He explained that they were part of requests made by the Anambra State Governor, National Chairman of the PDP, Iyorchia Ayu, recalled the role played by the late Alex Ekweme in the formation of the PDP. He said Ekweme, who led the PDP for 34 years, noted that Anambra State is PDP.
We are going to dredge the River Niger and make sure Onitsha port is functional. We are also going to make sure that we support Anambra State to industrialize the state so that the state can create as many jobs for our young men and women. And besides, you know, I promised to set aside $10 billion to promote small and medium-scale enterprises for our young men and women so that they can be independent.
In the meantime, mixed reactions have continued to greet the disbursement of the new Naira notes that officially came into circulation yesterday, with many bank customers demanding for the new notes, while a few others snubbed the latest bills in banking halls across major Nigerian cities. The newly redesigned 500 Naira, 200 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes finally became a legal tender on December 15, 2022, over 3 weeks after President Muhammadu Buhari unveiled them at the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting. Reports say several bank branches in several cities across the country, especially in Lagos and Abuja, had run out of the small quantities of the new notes allocated to them from their head offices as early as 12 noon, while several bank branches were yet to get their new note allocations with many bank officials informing customers that the new note. Nigerian Union of Journalists (NUJ) Akwa Ibom State has unveiled the official logo for its upcoming governorship debate in the state, while assuring transparency and calling for support from the media in seeing to the successful execution of the debate holding on the 29th of January 2023 at the Ibom Icon Hotel and Golf Resort by 4 p.m. In his opening remarks, the Akwa Ibom State NUJ Chairman, Comrade Amos Etuk, promised that the union would open its doors to all political parties to have access to it at all times. Delivering his remarks, the chairman of the Akwa Ibom NUJ Political Committee, organizers of the Akwa Ibom State Governorship Debate 2023, Anekan Dofia, noted that the project is an NUJ project and thus appealed to the media to own the project aimed at the betterment of all Akwa Ibom. The committee Odofia further noted that the only qualified candidates by law will be fielded on the day of the debate. While also speaking, the Akwa Ibom State Nigeria Labour Congress Chairman Sonny James, among other partners of the political debate, reiterated their support for the initiative, which they concurred is primarily aimed at selecting credible leaders who will effectively steer the affairs of the state from 2023. A high point of the event was the unveiling of the official logo of the Akwa Ibom Governorship Debate 2023, the official hashtag for the debate, the official Facebook page, and contacts to reach the committee, as well as the official email address and a Google Sheet for questions to be sent to the committee's question bank. The hashtag of the event was announced as AKS Gov Debate 2023.
The agenda is that we must have Akwa Ibom sons who are interested in consolidating on the gains of the foundations of our previous and present leader, in making sure that the choices we make in 2023 will be the very best choice for who will succeed His Excellency Governor Dom Emmanuel. And with less than 83 days to march, an identity formally gives the governorship debate a new narrative and formally lets Akwa Ibom people to know that the countdown has formally started. I want to assure you that NUJ, in collaboration with our partners, will ensure that this debate will come out satisfactorily to everybody. I want to assure you that we will ensure that critical sectors that need to be addressed will be given responses by the candidates who will have the opportunity to be on the biggest stage, the biggest clear lights that will offer them and be seen globally. It is a debate that will bring Akwa Ibom to the world.
The committee has the privilege to have met three of the governorship candidates, but that they would be coming for the debate.
What you can do is a well-thought idea very much in the time as it is. And therefore, the Young Labour Congress has refused to be subdued by anyone. And therefore, this is also the thinking of this committee, who are so far stand tall by not allowing anyone to say that it's the sole sponsor of the event. I am very glad and delighted to be part of it.
The agenda.
Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has passed the 2023 appropriation bill of the state, which amounted to 700 billion naira, into law. The 700 billion is made up of 344.05 billion for recurrent expenditure and 355.995 billion for capital expenditure. The proposed bill, which amounted to 0.4% of the initial proposed budget size, followed the report of the Udwak Udodo-led House Committee on Finance and Appropriation. Recall that Governor Dom Emmanuel, during the House sitting on Monday, November 7, 2022, presented his budget address for consideration, adding that by virtue of Order 8, Rule 1, Subsection 3 of the Standing Order of the House, the Appropriation Bill 2023 was deemed read for the first time. Reports say after a fruitful clause-by-clause deliberation at the Committee of the Whole and Supply, members unanimously accepted the reports and the Appropriation Bill was subsequently passed into law. The Speaker, Right Honourable Onyeka Mbasi, who presided over the plenary, directed the Clerk of the House, Mandu Morin, to communicate the position of the House to the Executive Governor for assent. On developments from the African continent, 6 countries of the Economic Community of Central Africa, Cameroon, Congo, Gabon, Chad, the CAR and Equatorial Guinea, the BIC, and the Bank of Central African States have put into circulation new banknotes, are more compact, more modern, and better secured, stressing that for the production of the bills, BIC has used technology that puts it one step ahead of counterfeiters. Well, according to the Bank of Central African States, the new bills were put into circulation in December in accordance with the decision taken on November 7 in Douala by the Ministerial Committee of the Central African Monetary Union, UMAC. Recall that the BIC had stressed in a press release last November that despite the introduction of new banknotes of the 2020 range, the 2002 range of banknotes continues to be in force in the Economic Community of Central Africa. On the foreign scene, Poland's police chief Jarosław Zimik has been hospitalized with minor injuries after a gift that he had received in Ukraine suddenly exploded. A statement by Poland's government alleged that the gifts came from one of the heads of Ukrainian office and correspondence services. Recall that during the police chief's working visit to Ukraine on December 11 to 12 this year, where he met with the heads of the Ukrainian police and emergency situation services, he received some gifts, one of which exploded. Reports say the incident follows a slew of suspicious mails sent to Ukrainian embassies in Europe, pushing Ukraine to put all of its overseas diplomatic stations under heightened security. Now, on developments from the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, Ukrainian forces have reportedly unleashed the biggest attack on the occupied Donetsk region since 2014 in the wake of heavy fighting in the east of the country. Moscow-appointed Mayor Alexei Kalemzin made the disclosure in a post on Telegram. Donetsk has been held by Russian-backed separatists for 8 years, and it is one of the 4 Ukrainian regions that Moscow attempted to annex in October in violation of international law. Reports say 40 rockets from BM-21 Grad, the MLRS, were fired at civilians in the city, adding that the key intersection in the Donetsk city center had come under fire. But still on the foreign scene, Peru's Supreme Court has ordered ousted former President Pedro Castillo to remain in pretrial detention for 18 months. But Castillo, a former teacher and union leader, an emergency government, a tactic the lawmakers slammed as an attempted coup. He has since been accused of rebellion and conspiracy, which he denies. Supreme Court Judge Juan Carlos said the lengthy detention reflects the complexity of the case and a possible flight risks after prosecutors warned that the ex-president might seek asylum outside the country, stressing that 18 months would cover the duration of their investigation. World Cup 2022 semi-final referee. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. On our business news, the World Bank has said that Nigeria is in a worsening situation, with economic performance becoming weaker as inflation persists. The Washington-based bank stated this in its newly released Nigeria Development Update (NDU) report, launched in Abuja alongside the Nigeria Country Economic Memorandum. The NDU report noted that Nigeria is in a challenging and deteriorating economic situation as the country's economic performance has weakened since the previous Nigeria Development Update was published in June 2022. The financial institution, which forecasts growth to slow by 2.9% in 2023, also cut Nigeria's 2022 growth forecast to 3.1% from a previous forecast of 3.8%, noting that the revision was due to slow economic growth in the third quarter from a year earlier, dragged down by the oil sector and a weak performance in other areas of the economy. Meanwhile, inflation in Nigeria accelerated to the general price level was a 6.07% higher inflation figure in November 2021. On a month-on-month basis, the headline inflation rate in November 2022 was 1.39%, and this was 0.15% higher than the rate recorded in October 2022, which was 1.24%. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) stated this in its latest Consumer Price Index report published on its website. The NBS attributed the rise in prices to food supply disruptions, input cost hikes due to currency depreciation, and a rise in production costs. In health now, the federal government has ranked Nasarawa State as the best performing state in COVID-19 mass vaccination campaign. National Primary Healthcare Development Board made this known. NPHCDA also said Nasarawa State has constructed 19 new facilities and renovated 90 health facilities. Meanwhile, the progress report of the vaccination in the country shows that as of November, the top 5 performing states in COVID-19 vaccination are Nasarawa, Jigawa, Osun, Kaduna, and Kano states. The NPHCDA said Nasarawa State represents all that is needed in terms of efforts to build resilient primary health care, with the efforts that traverses programmatic, infrastructural, workforce, and fiscal initiatives. Well, still in health, United Kingdom nurses RCN has staged an unprecedented one-day strike as a last resort in their fight for better wages and working conditions, despite warnings it could put patients at risk. Up to 100,000 members of the Royal College of Nursing in England, Wales and Northern Ireland are protesting after rejecting a government pay offer. The RCN's industrial action is part of a growing wave of stoppages by public and private sector employees. Meanwhile, the United Kingdom government has admitted there were serious shortages of antibiotics to treat bacterial infections in children, despite more than a week of denials. It comes after at least 17 children died in the United Kingdom from severe cases of a group of streptococcus and infection, as well as shortages of other types of antibiotics in Europe and North America. And now in sports, Morocco's Football Federation, the FMRF, has protested to the World Football Governing Body FIFA about the fee that Mexican referee Cesar Ramos failed to award a penalty in the first half to the North Africans when Theo Hernandez made contact with Sofiane Boufal in the area. The Moroccans were also unhappy that the holding down of substitute Selim Amala as he awaited the delivery of a set piece also failed to prompt another look from officials. Recall that the first African and Arab team to contest the World Cup semi-final, Morocco, lost 2-0 after an early goal by left-back Hernandez was followed by a late strike from substitute Randal Kolo Muani. Reports say the Atlas Lions still have one game left in Qatar when they take on Croatia in Saturday's third-place playoff and can become the first African team to ever take an effective bronze medal at the World Cup. But still in sports, Fernando Santos has quit as coach of Portugal following the team's shock World Cup quarterfinal loss to Morocco, with colorful and controversial Jose Mourinho named as a leading candidate to take over. The Portuguese Football Federation, FPF, in a statement said that an agreement was reached with the 68-year-old Santos to end a journey of great success that began in September 2014. The FPF added that it will launch the process to choose the next national coach. Reports say Mourinho has not coached at the international level, but has an impressive record at some of Europe's heavyweight clubs. On our entertainment news, there were tears and wailing from the family and friends of popular singer and chief executive officer of Zamar Entertainment, Samuel Poso, who was buried in Lagos. Recall that the singer died on November 25 at the age of 51. Reports say a night of tribute had earlier been held for the singer at the La Madison Palace in Oniru, Lagos on Tuesday, with fellow singers Topi Alabi and Timi Dakolo performing. And that's all we have time for you on the news. Do ensure to follow us on our social media platforms. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which you can find on our website at spectrumtv.ng. Thank you so much for watching. I am Raymond Ita. Enjoy the rest of the day's broadcast. Bye for now.